Hey guys, before I start the video, I just wanted to give you a heads up. I know that this video is pretty long and that it's only the first part, so I'm going to put the times when I talk about each specific match down below. That way, if you want to just go ahead and fast forward to a certain match that you care about and what I said about it, you can just check that out down below and go ahead and fast forward. Besides that, if you haven't seen WrestleMania for whatever reason that may be, I did talk about a lot of stuff that did happen in the matches, so just a heads up, there are spoilers. But besides that, go ahead and enjoy the video. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Christian, and today I'm going to be doing a recap and giving my thoughts on WrestleMania 33. That just ended about a few hours or so ago, so I'm gonna try to get through these quickly. They are going to be long videos. It's going to be broken up into two parts. This first part, I'm going to go through everything that is the pre-show all the way to about halfway through the main show. So I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible while still giving my inputs and my thoughts on each thing. So, alright, let's start. So, first of all, the stage I thought was really awesome. I thought it was cool. I was actually kind of jealous as well. I went to WrestleMania last year since it was here in Dallas, and I was kind of let down by the stage last year. It could have been better. I mean, I got what they did with it. I just wish it would have been a bit better and a bit more creative, just like this one was for this year. But a really awesome stage. So moving forward, pre-show, the first match for WrestleMania and the pre-show was the Cruiserweight title, Neville versus Austin Aries. I thought it was a pretty good match. Austin Aries almost got the win. He hit the 450 off the top, and he almost won it. Kick out at 2, but then I like the transition right after that where he rolled over and turned that into a submission hold. Neville got out of it by pretty much a hand to his eye or something that he had repaired, the socket. So then after that, pretty much he just hit his finisher right after that, Red Arrow, 1, 2, 3. It was a good match, good thing from both sides. The only thing I didn't like is that you'll hear me say this a couple times. The finish, it felt like there should have been one move to set up Neville to hit the Red Arrow. I didn't like how it was pretty much okay, hand to the face. Austin Aries stays down. Neville goes up, hits his finisher. I wish there would have been like even like just a kick, anything, just to like drop him down again and set it up. I feel like there was many times in this WrestleMania where you hear me say that the finish was like one or two moves shy of where it should have been. So next after that we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So we had some new faces in Bing, the new Chinese wrestler that they signed. I believe he's in TNA. And then you also had Killian Dane from Sanity as well. And also apart from that, you had your normal jobbers. You had Big Show, Braun, Mark Henry, etc., etc. What surprised me from here was that Big Show and Braun Strowman went out pretty early in the match. I expected Braun to win the whole thing, or at least be in the final 4 or final 2. But no, they got eliminated pretty early, and I didn't understand why. I mean, I'm not too sure on that. But yeah, later on at the end, the last 3 people in there were Killian Dane, Mojo Riley, and Jinder Mahal. This is the part that some people, well, most people that I've been hearing didn't like. It was Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots getting involved. So pretty much, Jinder Mahal went to Gronkowski, took his drink, took a sip, threw it back at him. Gronkowski then jumped over the barricade, which I thought was funny. I don't know if the security lady did not get the script on that, and she just pretty much ran over there, stop him from going in there. And then the referees had to go and pretty much tell her, hey, no, it's cool, he's supposed to be in here. So I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, then he got involved, tackled Jinder Mahal, and in the end, Mojo Riley won. A lot of people were mad online from what I was reading. They were like, from everybody that could have won, gave it to Mojo. I get it. There was people such as Big Show, Braun, which I said I thought was going to win the whole thing, Mark Henry, Sami Zayn especially, just a lot of other big names that could have probably gotten in, maybe deserved it more. But yeah, I know a lot of people are saying, why give it a Mojo? What's Mojo gonna do with this? But to be fair, nobody that has won the Battle Royal has done anything with it. Cesaro won it. After Cesaro won the first one, the only thing he's gotten from there till now is the tag team title with Sheamus. That's nothing small. That's still pretty good. But it's not, a big title. It's not like an Intercontinental or even United States or even like a big title. So it's kind of, none of them have really stuck out. Obviously, Big Show won it, and Big Show's pretty much towards the end of his career. He's not really going to do much. And Baron Corbin, there's still hope for Corbin, but still to date he hasn't really done much with it, and neither has any of them. So I don't really expect Mojo to really, get a huge push and make something out of this. But either way, like I said online myself, this was on the pre-show for a reason. So yeah, I mean, imagine this was on the main show, it would have been even worse. So it was on pre-show for a reason, and maybe because they were going to give it to Mojo, and they were like, okay, let's just put it on the pre-show. Next, we have the Intercontinental Championship, Ambrose versus Corbin. To be honest, I missed the beginning part of it, but I did get to catch the last few bits. I did like the ending. I liked how Corbin went for the end of days, but then Ambrose countered it, basically did a backflip, and pretty much hit Dirty Deeds 1, 2, 3. Ambrose retains. I did not like the outcome. Ambrose, I don't like him having titles. He never defends them. Was the case with the United States title back a few years. Same thing with Intercontinental. He doesn't defend it. It might not be his fault. It's just the way he's being booked. But I prefer somebody that is going to defend it, and because I mean Ambrose had it and he was fighting in the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Championship, so that's kind of pointless. I mean, maybe if Corbin would have won it, he would have defended it more. But I do get a lot of people say Corbin still needs some more work, especially on the mic, and that's totally fine. I wish they would have gave it to Corbin, but we'll see what happens from this. Still don't really see Ambrose defending it a whole lot though. Anyways, moving on to the main show. So the main show, there were a few little details that I picked out from the opening segment. First of all, there was no big opening, fireworks set that usually goes off. Usually we're used to them doing like this video package and then saying, whoever the sponsor presents with WWE presents whatever the name of the pay-per-view is. And especially for WrestleMania, it's even bigger because it's a big show of the year. And they usually have a whole set of fireworks, and it's big and loud and amazing. And yeah, this time they didn't. It was kind of awkward. New Day came out though, and New Day did have some fireworks, but pretty small compared to what you usually get, even compared to maybe a Raw and the fireworks they use for their opening. I thought the start was pretty slow. Most people say opening segments that involve talking is pretty much like you would see on Raw or SmackDown, and I agree. Luckily, New Day didn't drag it out. It was pretty straight to the point and onto the matches, but still kind of felt a little slow in the beginning. First match of the main show, AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. What a match to start off with. Impressive. One, if not the best matches of the night. It was a great match to start off with, start off with a bang. Match itself, the first few minutes were also good. If you were not impressed with Shane McMahon in this match, I do not know what match you were watching. It was really impressive, and I was more impressed in the matches I've seen of him before. One main thing that I noticed right away was his ground game. There was a lot of submission holds that were good. The match was back and forth. One example was when AJ went for a 450, and then Shane countered it into a triangle. From there, again back and forth, because then once Shane had the hole, after Shane had the hold in, AJ pretty much just stood up and gave him a Styles Clash. He did an armbar as well. There was different submission holds that Shane just busted out with that I did not see coming, but they were pretty good. I was impressed with that. So AJ tried to do coast to coast, which he didn't do because once he jumped off, Shane just pretty much threw the trash can at him. And then Shane went for his own coast to coast, and he hit that. One of the pretty much the biggest moment of that match, if not of the night, was Shane McMahon going for a shooting star press. I did not expect that. Nobody expected that. I wish he would have hit it, because the way he did it was like perfect. It was really good. But obviously, AJ rolled out of the way and he missed it. But nobody was expecting that. I honestly was expecting something just like an elbow drop, leg drop, something simple. I was not expecting this guy to go up there and do a shooting star press. Like, what the hell? And then obviously after he missed the shooting star press, that's when AJ Styles capitalized, hit him with a phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. AJ wins the match. Moving on after that, Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for the United States Championship. One of the things I wrote down for this match was the placement was bad. I don't know. I think that having Kevin Owens and Jericho follow AJ and Shane made the United States title match kind of, it hurt it. It was, maybe we would have got a better match or felt better about the match if it was in another part of the show. But obviously, once you follow a big, huge match that was impressive like this one was, then you're just kind of like still on that, and you're like, it was alright, but it wasn't Shane and AJ. And I felt like that's how this one was. I felt like this match was also slower. Kevin Owens hit the walls of Jericho. Jericho kicked out of a pop-up powerbomb, and towards the end, Kevin Owens powerbombed Jericho on the edge of the apron. And again, I feel like this match needed one more move. Pretty much after the powerbomb on the edge of the apron, Kevin Owens just threw Chris Jericho in, covered him 1, 2, 3, and that was it. I felt that maybe when he threw him in there, he could have done one more thing. Maybe just picked him up, do another pop-up powerbomb just to be safe. I don't know. I feel like it lacked a little bit more. Like I said, maybe the placement was it, because you're still thinking about what AJ and Shane did, and it's like, yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't that one. So that's how it happened. Kevin Owens is your new United States champion. Either way, I'm pretty sure most of us knew that Chris Jericho was going to drop the belt. Obviously, Chris Jericho is going to go on this tour with Fozzy. And yeah, he's going with his band for a while, so of course he was not going to retain. Moving on. So then we had the Raw Women's Title Elimination match between Bayley, Nia, Sasha, and Charlotte. I particularly like the entrances from Sasha and Charlotte. I think Sasha looked really good with the entrances she had, and it fit her character perfectly just from everything that was in that entrance. I just thought it was like a really good match and a really good entrance. As far as Charlotte, I like how Charlotte, obviously in Orlando, that's where Ric Flair's last match was, and how the entrances were similar and a lot of references, and it was a good entrance as well. In the beginning, Nia Jax was dominating the match. It was pretty much everyone versus Nia, and Nia was holding her own. Made like Nia Jax look strong, look dominant, just like how she has been, and it was just a really good match. So after that, obviously Nia Jax was the first woman eliminated. She went up to the second turnbuckle, I believe, and then there was a three-way powerbomb between the other ladies and her. And then they all just jumped on top of her, pinned her, 1, 2, 3. Another good moment of the match was Charlotte's corkscrew moonsault from the top to the outside. After that, the second person to be eliminated was actually Sasha. A lot of people wanted the last two to be Sasha and Bayley to get that match. Charlotte had taken off the cover off the second turnbuckle. Sasha pretty much ran into it, and obviously cover 1, 2, 3. She's out. At the end, Bayley versus Charlotte. They're both on the top. Bayley throws Charlotte down, and then she gets an elbow drop, covers her, and Bayley retains the title. So by this point, we had only one title out of 3 change hands, and that was the beginning of the show so far. So moving on. So after that match, we had the Raw Tag Team titles. In the ladder match, it was Sheamus and Cesaro versus Enzo and Cass and the Club. pretty much everyone made their entrance, made their way down to the ring, and that's when the New Day came out, and they said that they had just learned that it was going to be a fatal four-way now. They did have their ring gear on, and the commentators did want to play like, oh, is it going to be New Day that joins them, even though pretty much everyone knew who they were talking about as the fourth tag team in there, and they went ahead and said, yeah, here's a tag team, and obviously out come the Hardy Boys. So the Hardys are back, and many people were excited in the stadium and around the world watching TV. So yeah, they're finally back. The rumors were true. They are back. Some stuff from the match. There were good sequences from Cesaro and Sheamus when Cesaro was, spinning, I believe, Anderson around, and Cesaro was over there with Gallows. Besides that, some of the highlights were the Twist of Fate from Matt Hardy off the top of the ladder, as well as Jeff Hardy, that pretty much we expected something, of course. So he did a swanton bomb off the 20-foot ladder onto Sheamus and Cesaro that were on top of ladders down below. In the end, the Hardys win. They're tag team champions again, and they are back in WWE, specifically Raw. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them next, how the tag team division is gonna look, and what's gonna happen. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do. Obviously, the club's gonna get a rematch, maybe at Payback. But besides that, it was a good ladder match. Anytime there's a ladder match at WrestleMania, we always expect something crazy, something happens, somebody to do something crazy off the top of a ladder, and this was no different. So this was a good match. I enjoyed it. Hardys are back. Most of us are happy about that. But yeah, it was a pretty good match, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, if they're gonna let him. There was a lot of delete chants in there, and even Matt and Jeff themselves were doing it along with the crowd. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But besides that, I think that's gonna wrap up this first part. Sorry if it was so long. This is gonna wrap up the first part, and next video that's gonna come up is gonna be the second part and talks about the other matches that I have not mentioned yet. So thank you very much, and look out for the second part.